In today's session, Alon Yardebi will introduce Microsoft Defender for Containers. Alon is a Principal Program Manager for Azure Information Protection. And without further ado, I'll turn it over to Alon. Alon, the floor is yours.
Hey, everybody. Hopefully you can hear me okay. My name is Alon Yardebi. I'm a PM manager in Microsoft Defender for Cloud. I own the Defender for Servers and Defender for Containers packages. And I'm replacing Maya Skovic from my team that was supposed to present today and is woke up sick today. Hope you enjoyed this presentation. So just a small recap before we dive into containers about Microsoft Defender for Cloud. Our product is basically has two main pillars. One is focusing on the cloud security posture management, allowing our customer to strengthen the multi-cloud security posture of their solution. And the other pillar is the cloud workload protection, where we protect the multi-cloud and hybrid workloads of the product. Some key investment that we are now focusing in Microsoft Defender for Cloud team. So first, we are really focusing on our multi-cloud support. This is something that we have started with, and I'm going to talk about it later in the presentation about our AWS support. And later, we'll also add support for GCP and GKE platforms. We're going to work on contextual CSPM and CWPP, allowing you to better prioritize the items that you need to fix, the highest risk security issues first. So this is going to be something that will help you manage and handle the security items that you need to handle. And we are also enhancing our understanding. Yes?
You're not presenting. We're still seeing the welcome slide. I think everybody's seeing that.
Yes, I see the community slide, yes.
Better?
Yes.
Yeah, now we see. Thank you.
Yeah, I started presenting and then someone took over. So as I was mentioning, as I was saying, the key investment areas are the multi-cloud support, and I explained it, and then contextual CSPM and cloud workload protection. And we are also adding information protection capabilities to better understand which resources are handling sensitive information, and therefore we want to prioritize their risk higher than resources that are not handling sensitive information. So without further ado, let's start talking about our container security solution. So why do we even need to have a container security? Why can't we use the old VM solution? So there's some very unique attributes to containers. The containers are very short-lived and requiring us to fix the vulnerabilities very early in the delivery pipeline. And the visibility of container traffic and usage are very difficult to track with traditional tools. This is why we created the container security solution. So I'm sure people on this presentation do not need this introduction, but let's just do a very quick recap. How does Kubernetes work? Well, Kubernetes users communicate with the API server in the control plane, and then the control plane activates the nodes and enforces the worker nodes to be in the desired state that we wanted them to be. Worker nodes are doing the work and communicating between themselves. And of course, worker nodes are accepting traffic from the internet and handling requests and activities. So what are some of the main protection capabilities that we provide today in general availability? So we have vulnerability assessment for containers, very easily, does not require any configuration or deployments. We discover the ACR registers that are used, and we scan all the images, and also doing continuous scanning of the active images in order to make sure that if there are new vulnerabilities being published, we also detect them. We provide runtime protection, and we have the ability to detect suspicious behavior. Suspicious behavior in a Kubernetes using our artificial intelligence capabilities. We provide capabilities for hardening host and cluster hygiene according to the Azure security benchmark, and we can supporting Docker sys benchmark. And we are able to do Kubernetes policy and enforcement using the admission control policy management that I'm going to talk about in the next slide. So what is the admission control policies that I mentioned before? We are able to, using admission control policies, we will allow you to ensure security best practice are followed by, sorry about that. Admission control policies will allow you to make sure that images that are not approved, either because having some vulnerabilities or are unhealthy, are not moved to the runtime to the runtime node. Container image scanning that I mentioned before. This is working seamlessly. You just turn on the solution and we detect the ACRs and start scanning them. We are scanning all the pushed images, and the images that are currently running, we are continuing to scan them continuously for new vulnerabilities that are being published. Of course, our goal is to have zero vulnerabilities in running deployments, and this requires us to scan each images as they move between the gates, and of course, making sure using the admission control that I mentioned before that are not moved into the runtime. One of the things that we have invested in is that we worked with the MITRE threat matrix and helped them create the Kubernetes attack matrix. And this is something that we have invested a lot, making sure that we are working as part of the community to ensure that the container security is handled. And to give you an example of how the attack matrix is handled in real time, we can see a real worldwide attack illustration. And here we're going to talk about a Kubeflow crypto mining campaign that happened recently and was covered and detected by Azure Defender. So Kubeflow is basically a framework for running machine learning tasks, and their dashboard is accessible by default only within the cluster. Many customers, in order to use the dashboard, are opening it for internet access, and because that Kubeflow is running with high permissions, this causes a vulnerability, and attacker can access the Kubeflow dashboard and then take control of the API server, hence creating new malicious images that are, for example, here mining acting as a mining activity, creating bitcoins and stuff for our malicious user. So this shows how Azure Defender can first detect the exposed service and alert on that. Assuming that was not fixed, we can detect that a malicious image deployment has happened, and after that, we can see that the mining activity is being happened on your containers, and we provide you with alerts on that. Those kind of alerts and behaviors will not be detected by the regular detections like the old server detections. So what did we see here? We saw that in the attack metrics, in the Mitre attack metrics that I showed before, in this specific attack, we saw exposed sensitive interfaces. There was execution of a new container, and several other bad things happened to us that the malicious user was able to take control of our system and create the new containers for the mining work. So what do we have right now in public preview? And this is very important for me to explain. And if you have any questions, please use the chat to raise questions on the new functionality that we have released very recently. So as I mentioned, we have started a very strong push into multi-cloud, not just supporting Azure, and today we support also Amazon EKS, and very soon we are also going to go into Google GKE, and also today we support on-prem and IaaS, Kubernetes on-prem. What is this new capability provides you? So first, we have it provides you a single pane of glass for your Kubernetes security. It doesn't matter where it's deployed. This is using Kubernetes-native technology, and not that allows us to better handle the tools that monitor the usage of our agents and the security of the system. We support different Kubernetes distribution, as I mentioned, the Amazon EKS and the Kubernetes on-prem. We provide discovery and visibility of unmonitored clusters. Very importantly, we provide Kubernetes-aware threat detection, including behavioral analytics and anomaly detection. In order to provide you all with all that goodness, we leverage Azure Arc, and Defender is now being deployed as an Azure Arc cluster extension. And the security recommendation and the threats that we report are now shown in a new security page in the Azure Arc portal. Very recently, in this last month in December, we have created a new Defender plan to simplify the two plans that we had before that caused some customer confusion, and we got several asks from customers to simplify it, and we listened to that. So what did we do? We took the Kubernetes threat detection solution and the container image scanning solution and created the Microsoft Defender for Container solution, providing cloud-native technology with frictionless onboarding using a daemon set that allows us to provide Kubernetes behavioral analytics and anomaly detections and runtime visibility for container vulnerability assessment. In addition, we provide, as I mentioned, the multi-cloud support for Amazon EKS and the Kubernetes on-prem. In addition, we simplified the pricing models for the Defender plan to $7 per vehicle, with no additional fee for image scanning, assuming we scan about 20 scans per core. Additional scans after that will require 29 cents per image. Thank you, everybody, for that. I don't have the visibility to see if we had any questions or any items that we want to discuss right now.
Let's see, it looks like we have all of the questions covered. I guess I can ask one question here. We have, where does Microsoft stand out comparing with competitors? Oh, sorry, I guess we got that question covered. Let me see here. Yes, I think we have all the questions covered. So I'll
This
just
is great. Nadav?
Sorry, what?
No, I was just checking if I thought I saw someone here that wanted to.
Yeah, there's an interesting question. Maybe Alon, you can elaborate. So there's a it goes like it's more like on an integration side with Azure Sentinel, so or Microsoft Sentinel. So is an integration in Sentinel automatically given, or do I have to configure this extra? Maybe you can elaborate on that.
Do we have anybody online that wants to take this this question and help me with that? So I guess the answer is that we don't have anybody online that can help with that. So we work very hard to enable the integration with Sentinel automatically.
Hey,
and
I don't know, you hear me? Sorry, I have
Yes.
some technical issues here, so feel free to add me in any time.
Okay, we cannot hear you well, Nadav. So we plan to have
I have some technical issues.
Whenever you're saying you have some technical issues, we can hear you well, but then the rest part is. Go ahead, Alon. Sorry.
We plan to have Nadav do a short demo or showing you the new plan and the new capabilities, but sorry for that technical limitations. Having said that, regarding the Sentinel question, I will try to give you a more full answer offline, but yes, Azure Defender and Sentinel are working together, and most of the alerts and the recommendations that are in Azure Defender are exported to Sentinel. Yes.
Cool. Well, thank you for that. The other one goes, does the image scanning support application images or modules that is just, or is it just the base image?
No, so now you hear me okay, folks?
Yes.
Okay, so I want to get some context regarding also to the first question regarding the Sentinel integration. I will share my camera so you can see me as well. So I am one of the engineering managers that leading the entire container security at Microsoft Defender, and I actually asking a lot of time about what is the goal about the integration between Microsoft Defender and Sentinel, and actually we didn't got enough requirement from customers about this integration yet. We today with our new solution, and I will be able to present a demo in a moment, we collect many new data feeds. And we all the time asking in engineering and also in product, what is the goal? Do we want to push all this data to Sentinel? Do we want to give customer the ability to process, to run automation workflows against this data? And at the end of the day, we feel that we didn't get enough feedback to do such movement. So if anyone interested in some integration, please ping me, please ping Maya, ping Alon. We will be happy to hear and understand what are actually the requirements. So this is the first one regarding the integration between the product. The second part regarding the scanning of the images, yes, our scanning solution is scanning the entire image, the base image, including the application and the code libraries that in it.
Great, thank you so much. I see questions regarding integrations with another SIEM like Splunk and QRadar. So please, folks, for our roadmap questions or future developments and all that, please join our private community, and I'll share with you guys the link here soon so you can be part of that group. Let me see if there's any other ones. Okay. Why put AKS logs into Sentinel workspace via data connector?
Okay, so why we are using log analytics to upload the data to the cloud? So log analytics from our perspective is a service that allowing us to push tons of data and uploading for processing into the cloud, while on the other side, we don't want to keep the data itself inside the customer workspace. We are using local analytics backend services just as a pipeline, something that we can using to upload a very massive data volume into our backend services. And we do raise the ask to the log analytics, which called actually the monitoring group inside Microsoft, to make this invisible to customers and make all the magic behind the scenes. We are not yet there. We are working on it, and we do in touch with this group to do it seamless entirely. But for now, the best we can achieve is to be able to use log analytics to upload the data and make sure that we are not keeping the data in the workspace. We're just processing it in our backend services. Hoping this helped answer the question.
Thank you for that. Does Defender for Containers support other container implementations, or is it only K8?
What you mean by other containers implementation? Other Kubernetes distribution like OpenShift?
We'll wait on that. I guess we can move on into the next one. Is Kubernetes or apps deployed by Kubernetes visible to MCAS?
Visible to MCAS. Let me think about that. Yeah, so I'm not sure about this integration. If MCAS has the ability to see what we have in the in our cluster, I need to follow up on that, and we'll be happy to hear more context about what is the end goal. Because when I'm thinking about MCAS, is giving the ability to get insights, security alerts, CSPM, which most of the features exist today in MDC as well. So I'll be happy, one, checking the integration, second, understand the requirement or the ask.
Okay, great, cool. So here's the last one. It's a lengthy one, so let me try to see. It goes like, I noticed that the Defender config for containers has an additional config options. For example, the Azure policy for Kubernetes clusters, and there are 4 options that can be turned on and off. I don't want to deploy policies that will enforce configurations. Can I disable these settings and still get value from the recommendations provided by Defender for Cloud?
Yeah, definitely. So also before I'm answering this question, I want to give everyone a little recap about the integration between policy, Azure policy, and AKS or Kubernetes in general inside Microsoft. AKS and Azure Defender and Microsoft Defender leveraging the Gatekeeper solution, which I don't know who is familiar with, but we are integrated the Gatekeeper solution into the Kubernetes clusters, which allow customers to get visibility and audit about compliance and policy violation. In addition, the Gatekeeper project gives the ability to actually block operations that violate the policy of the organization. So if you're interested in Kubernetes and you're interested in policy in general, go and take a look about Gatekeeper. And most of that, come and see how Microsoft Defender adopt a Gatekeeper into our solution. And the answer for the question is yes, you can modify any one of the rules that we declared as policies to be in both situations. One, it's audit, and the second one is block, and you can configure any one of them. In addition, you can add exceptions. For example, if you want to allow, if you want to deny some policy but do want to allow some specific dedicated parameters, you can do it as well. I think that everything also in our documentation, but if something is missing, please ping us, and then we will provide guidelines.
Thank you so much, Nadav, for a detailed answer. I see that the team is taking care of the rest of the incoming questions, and this way I'll turn it over to you, Ashley, to wrap up the webinar.
Okay, thank you, Alon, and thank you, Alon and Nadav, for being our guests today and for an excellent presentation. And thank you to the rest of the team who helped answer questions. At the same time, I would like to remind the listeners that the best way to ensure you don't miss any future webinars or major announcements is to visit our landing page at aka.ms/securitycommunity. And while there, you'll find easy ways to navigate and find the resources and learning content relevant to our security products and their communities. A good start would be browsing our bite-sized product videos, ninja trainings, recordings of past webinars, GitHub communities, and more. We'd love to hear your feedback on how we can improve these webinars. Please take a minute by submitting your webinar feedback at aka.ms/security-webinar-feedback. Thank you and see you next time. Goodbye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.